Alright, Nick Baldwin for BuddyElbow.com here with UFC middleweight contender Kelvin Gastelum. He fights Vitor Belfort in the main event, UFC Fight Night Brazil on March 11th in Brazil. Kelvin, really appreciate the time today. First off, let's go back to your win. December 10th in Toronto, UFC 206 main card. You defeated Tim Kennedy by third round TKO. Great performance. Was this the most pleasing victory to date? Because kind of put to rest all the weight issues and all of that sort of negativity you had the month before. New York, you had to pull out of the fight, didn't make weight against Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Was this a pleasing victory, the most pleasing, because it put all of that stuff to rest?
That's a pretty good way to put it. I would say it's one of the most pleasing victories that I've had for sure. I just had a lot going on into that fight that I just wanted it to wanted it to be over with. You know, wanted all this to be over with. I just wanted to go back home and crawl into my own little hole. But you know, I was very satisfied with my win for sure.
Now you said in your post-fight interview that it was going to be welterweight. You're going to go back down, but here we are talking about a middleweight fight, main event in Brazil. Why are you staying at 185? I think most people think middleweight's a better option for you. You felt different about that, but why are we sitting here now talking about a middleweight fight?
Right. Well, because I told the UFC if they offered me a fight like Vitor Belfort, a fight that I would be interested in, that I would stay in the middleweight division. And so far, they've granted me my wish, and they got me a fight that I was interested in, a main event fight in Brazil against a legend like Vitor. I mean, I can't say no to that.
So is the plan from here to, does it depend what happens on March 11th? Does it depend if you win or lose? Will you stay at middleweight from now on, or is the goal to still end up eventually at 170 again?
You know what, I don't see why I can't be competing in both weight classes. You know, I felt great at 185, and I feel I can excel at this weight, and I feel I can beat the top guys at this weight. I remember a few years back I wasn't very confident in my abilities, but now a few years have passed, and I'm pretty confident in my abilities, confident in my skills, to know that I can compete with the best middleweights and also the best welterweights.
Do you feel like competing at both weight classes might cause your title chances to slow a little bit? Because you're not picking up 4 straight wins in a year at one weight class. You'll be kind of going back and forth. Do you think that kind of lessens your chances of fighting for either title?
No, I think it'll open up my horizons even more. You know, I think whatever fight gets me to the title fight faster is the fight that I'll take. And so far, you know, I think Vitor will be a good step up, and you know, just keep moving up the rankings.
Where do you think you're the best?
I feel I'm the best when I'm at welterweight. I feel like that's my optimal weight class. But you know, like I said, I've won the Ultimate Fighter at middleweight, and I've competed at middleweight, undefeated still at middleweight. So I feel I can excel at both weight classes. Now,
you said after your Tim Kennedy win that you'll be working with George Lockhart. Is that still the plan because you're fighting at 185, or will that only be for 170 matchups should they occur in the future?
No, that'll still be the plan. George is the man. He's helped me out these last few fights. So I think we're gonna stick with the same plan, and you know, he does a good job of feeding me what I need to be fed during fight week. So I think I'm gonna stick with that.
Now, obviously, you've been getting these wins, but you've, of course, also been missing weight. You missed weight a couple times. Now, from your eyes and your opinion, you're the guy cutting the weight. Why haven't you been able to hit the 170 limit all of the time? Why are you missing a couple times?
You know, it's just I get too heavy outside of camp. You know, and that's my mistake. It shouldn't be that way. You know, when I'm outside of camp, I gain 40, 50 pounds above my weight class, and it shouldn't have to be that way, you know, and that's on me. You know, I go out and I eat all this delicious Mexican food, but you know, it's just a little change of habits, change of lifestyle a little bit, and so far I've been able to do well. I did well in the holidays that just passed, and you know, I did okay. I did pretty good, surprisingly. So it's just a matter of changing a few habits and a few lifestyle choices.
Now, with working with George Lockhart, do you think some of that will be more focused on just your diet rather than weight cut? Because you don't have difficulties cutting down to 185, so will working with Lockhart for these middleweight fights be mostly surrounded around just getting your diet in order?
Yeah, it'll be just get my diet in order, get me ready to drop down to 170. You know, I basically don't cut any weight at 185, so we're just gonna be prepping my body to go down to 170 again.
Awesome. How do you think you match up against Vitor Belfort?
You know what? I think he's a legend of the sport. Obviously, he's done great things. He's been at the top. He's been at the bottom. Been at the top and been at the bottom. He's been in the game for 20 years. So, right now he's on a 2 or 3 fight losing streak, and I'm sure he's been there. You know, he's been in the game for a long time, and he's been there, and he's come out on top again, and been at the bottom again. So. He's a dangerous fight. He's a dangerous fight. I'm taking it very serious, and but at the same time, I'm very confident in my abilities, confident in my skills. You know, I just think it's a young lion versus an old lion, and the way that works is always the young lion always tests the old the leader of the pack, the old lion. You know, and that's kind of what's happening here. So,
where does a win over Vitor Belfort puts you in the middleweight division? Say you stay there, UFC gives you the fights he wants. How far away from a title shot against, say, Michael Bisping? Where does the win over Belfort put you, considering the losing streak he's on?
You know, it's just a fight that moves me up in the rankings, which is ultimately what I want. The only thing that I want. So, I don't think it necessarily puts me in title talks, title conversations, but it moves me up the rankings and it puts me in a better position to get those kind of fights. To be able to get in contention.
Who do you rather fight, Michael Bisping or Tyron Woodley again?
Tyron Woodley.
Because you've lost to him?
Because I've lost to him, and I think I can beat him. I know I can beat him.
Now, they've actually apparently verbally agreed to a fight. Now, I don't know if it will happen. I don't know how
right.
close to it being official, but Bisping and Woodley have been talking. They want to fight each other. Considering they haven't defended the titles, well, Woodley did the one time against, they both did actually,
right,
but I mean, they're both new champions.
Yeah.
Do you think that's fair for them to have a quote-unquote super fight?
It doesn't really make sense to me, and to be honest, you know, they want to do a super fight just to get money, you know, just to earn that paycheck, but it doesn't really make sense. You know, they got a whole list of contenders to worry about, and, you know, they're just trying to make their money, which I don't blame them, you know, but they've got a whole list of contenders to worry about.
Stepping into enemy territory for this Belfort fight, are you worried about that all getting down to Brazil? Maybe not knowing where things are, weight cut things, any fight week supplies, is that a worry? Is that a concern?
You know what? Not really. I've had a lot of support coming at me from Instagram, from Twitter, from Facebook. A lot of Brazilian fans, surprisingly, you know, and they're cheering me on, you know. So I'm not really worried about that.
Fight prediction time. How do you get the job done?
I'd say first round. You know, I'm very confident. I know Vitor is very strong in the first round, but I have a good feeling 2017 will be good.
Awesome. Really appreciate the time, Calvin.
Thank you very much, brother.